For those of you who don't know about it, there probably are 500 of these videos on YouTube, on Facebook, of talks I've given. They're very good research things, and you can go there and each one of them is maybe 5 minutes long, 8 minutes long. As well as on my website, I've been writing all these things about Tantra. And I think it's, I'm getting a good response to that. It's been very interesting how people have been responding to that. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart, it's Brad.
Yes, Brad.
Can you speak about the value or not value of peak spiritual experiences?
How can that not have value? I don't understand. How do I speak about it not having value?
Well, let me say more. So some days I would say I have a really deep experience, and then some days I don't have a deep experience, and then I keep wanting to go back to the deep experience, and you end up recreating something that is in the past. So
look, don't try to recreate any experience, because you can't. When you have those deep experiences, just be grateful. Open your heart and really feel a deep gratitude that you offer up to higher energy. And the experience will go even deeper. When you're struggling to get through a meditation class, and that happens too, that's no less of an education, because it's telling you how to get past the difficult things in yourself. So there's nothing negative about any of this, Having a difficult class, having a difficult day, being up against all kinds of obstacles in life is not a negative thing. It's a thing that is just a reminder that you got to do deeper inner work. You got to grow. And I'll tell you, when I finally learned this, it eliminated negativity. Positive and negative are the same energy. And both of them serve a purpose. The difficult things, probably those who can work through the difficult things, get to the other side without giving up, will grow spiritually more than people that just have tough experiences. They will build such a strong system inside themselves that system will enable them to deal with anything. So to me, none of it is anti-growth. It's all positive. Just different ways of learning, that's all. And we need different ways of learning because human beings are very complex. And there's so many different aspects of what exists inside us that each one of them requires a different way of learning. So sometimes, I always use the metaphor, drilling through a mountain with a cold chisel, creating a tunnel through a mountain with a cold. Sometimes it feels like that, impossible. How am I going to get to the other side, But I also discovered, keep drilling, Stuart, because on the other side of that is usually an amazing opening. And I said it a million times, like the fairy tale, the knight and the dragon with the pot of gold, You got to fight your way through this creature to get to the maiden in distress, the pot of gold, the holy grail, This is a thing that's come down for thousands of years in mythology and fairy tales. So I don't think any of it is negative, Brad. All of it is just an opportunity to learn how to grow in different ways. And usually the negative thing that makes everybody give up. In my life, it makes me work that much harder because I know It's just resistance to some extraordinary thing that's going to happen in my life. That part of me and part of every human being, that where the battle of life and death is. I don't want to change. I don't want to grow. I don't want to build a more extraordinary inner life. I want everything to kind of level off where I'm comfortable. You know, it's the grave where we're comfortable.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question?
Stuart, I have a question. Bob Sink.
Oh,
So conceptually, I get that the positive and the negative is just energy, but practically, it feels like I need to be working differently.
well, no. Look, let me just conceptually, positive and negative are just energy. Practically, you're being told what you got to do to get to that place where positive and negative are just energy. I don't know, does that make sense to you?
It makes sense, but
all that
please
concept-
elaborate.
What?
Please elaborate on that. That's very good.
Yeah,
But if
yeah.
you could elaborate, that would help.
A way of seeing the world. Look, I want to be with God. All right, God is infinite energy and all inclusive of everything in the universe. Getting there, you know, I have to crawl over mountains and hills and valleys, and you know, the practical doing of it, you know, is a reminder of how deeply we really need to work on ourselves. So one is connected to the other. You understand? I mean, yes, it's wonderful to have some ideal image of spirit and even people that walk around being holier than thou and all that. I never could, you know, I never had any patience for that, but people do, you know, it's wonderful to have that idea. Then there's the doing of it. Then there's the climb Mount Fuji, O snail, but slowly, slowly. Then there's, you know, breaking down the blocks, the hindrances, the obstructions in ourselves, transforming them into chi, transforming them into kundalini, transforming them into energy that really allows us to experience God, higher energy, spirit. But that's the practical side of this. Meditation is the practical side of this, because meditation will force you to learn how to get past the encumbrances, the difficulties, the negativity that's in every single one of us. That part of us that doesn't want to grow, that just doesn't want to be bothered with anything that means that we have to work on ourselves in a deeper way. But each time we get past that particular dragon, that particular, you know, our consciousness expands, we grow, we become more enlightened people, we learn how to live better in the world. But we need to, you know, develop the strength inside to be able to do what I'm talking about. That's what these classes are for. That's all they're for. To build that kind of inner strength. And what do you have to get past? Oneself. That's it. We are the only reason we're not enlightened. We need to get past ourselves. That's why I have 7 of these classes a week, and now, you know, in-person classes I'm starting. I mean, I know how difficult this is, and I know the training one needs to get there. It's the training I went through with Rudy. So yes, there's the ideal, and then there's getting to the ideal. Because none of us are perfect. We all have imperfections. And problems, resentments, and angers, and all kinds of stuff runs around in people, you know? But we all have chakras, we have mind, we have breath, we have a craft that can teach us how to break all of that stuff down, how to get to the other side of it, and how to grow spiritually in ourselves. I mean, I saw how Rudy did it. I was with him so much, and I saw a person, watched him overcome those obstacles, both in the objective world and inside himself. It was an extraordinary education to see that go on. And then I stopped complaining. I remember I once complained to him about having nowhere to sleep in his house. You know, I was living in his house. I was the first one really invited to come live in his house. And I complained to him. I said, Rudy, I don't have a place to sleep. And he points to a weed in the crack in the sidewalk and said to me, the weed has more courage than you do. Can you imagine growing and living in the crack of a New York City sidewalk? What are you complaining about? Never complained again about any of that stuff. You know, I said, oh, okay, I'll find a place to sleep. Does anyone else have a question?
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome, Bob. Just use everything as a reason to grow, not as a reason to defeat yourself. Does anyone else have a question? Okay, there'll be a meditation tomorrow evening, same time. And as I usually end this, you know, I'm just very grateful to see every single one of you here. As I've told you many times, you all are my teacher. You all are demanding of me to work in great depths inside myself. I need that, and I'm just infinitely grateful to see the people that show up in these classes and work on themselves and want to grow spiritually. So God bless you all, and thank you. And there'll be a meditation tomorrow evening, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone.
Thank you very much, Stuart.
You're welcome.
Stuart.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
So much, Stuart.